In the ringing of the bells are the echoes of our ancestors and a call to community. Our small church started gathering downtown during the late Civil War, a time when abolition was in the air. May it be so again. Like those before us, we begin in song. Welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Rochester. Since 1866, we've striven to be a congregation of love and justice, rooted in many sources of wisdom, many spiritual paths, believers in God and mystery, nature, love, queer and trans folks, immigrants and refugees, all of who we are and who we are becoming are held here as sacred. Before, during, or after the service, you can visit the small altars here on either side to light a candle for a joy or sorrow, or to write a prayer in the prayer bowl that will be collected after the service. There's a preschool playroom open for young ones and activities following the time for all ages. After service, you can join us down in the Commons for community and coffee and conversation. And this week, we are glad to be serving treats from Don Pancho's Bakery and will be for the coming weeks. That's good. And then Wednesday evenings, join us for supper at 5:30, followed by choir, table conversations, and activities for all ages, including childcare. And this coming Saturday, you can join Family Promise for their annual coldest day of the year, walk and roll, supporting housing justice. You can contact Julie Gilkinson or see the e-news or website for more information. In the coming days, we expect to know more about the timeline of moving to our temporary location at Our Savior's Lutheran while we move toward groundbreaking on a new building this coming summer. You can stay tuned to announcements through your e-news. Lots of details are still being figured out, timelines still being determined, but we anticipate final services here on Walden Lane sometime in the next month or so. So just watch for updates, stay connected, and you'll hear more soon. Each week, our offering goes out our doors to support justice work in the community. This month is for the Immigration Justice Fund, of course, needed now as much as ever. You can give as the plates pass or anytime online. Thank you for your generosity. So I invite you to take a breath. As we enter our time of worship with these words from our minister in the 1870s, the Reverend Eliza Tupper Wilkes. May our faith in humanity and our message of hope and good cheer light our way. In a moment, the music will call us back, a reminder that singing and joining our voices together in community helps build resilience and solidarity. But before that, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and greet those around you.
At this time, I would like to invite those who will be joining First UU to come up and share the space with us as we light our chalice. Wonderful. This morning, we welcome a new group of members into our spiritual home and into the wider world of Unitarian Universalism. We come together as members and friends of this spiritual community. We covenant to engage each other with kindness and courage and love. And in honor of these new members, we light this chalice as a symbol of our community, our covenant, and our faith together.
When we welcome new members, it's a seemingly simple act of putting pen to paper, signing a name, and saying welcome, and yet and still something more powerful than that always happens. It's a commitment of hearts to hearts, of joining a community and reconsecrating ourselves to our values that we hold, and honoring these new souls among us in the larger family of all souls. May this church be a home for your soul. May these be your people. And may we together in forgiveness and grace, strength and resilience make a home for all souls here.
This morning, we welcome new members into our spiritual home and into the wider world, the wider living tradition of Unitarian Universalism. This welcome feels especially meaningful because we stand together in a time of change. As we prepare to leave this familiar building and move into a temporary space, we are reminded that this church is not the walls around us, but the people beside us. Our home is carried in covenant, not bricks and mortar. We gather as members and friends of the spiritual community, bound by a promise to meet one another with kindness and courage and love. It is a deep joy to walk alongside those who are exploring First UU, to listen to their stories of spiritual searching, hope, and sometimes hesitation. When someone decides that this is their place, that we are their people, it is something to celebrate. In a world that can feel uncertain and troubling, choosing a community of refuge, acceptance, and shared values matters. We are grateful that you have found your way here. We welcome you wholeheartedly into this congregation and into the wider world of Unitarian Universalism as companions on the journey ahead. This morning, we welcome Dan Field, Grace Luganbill, and Linda Miller.
So I invite you to turn to the litany in your order of service as we welcome them into this community. First, the congregation. We welcome you into this congregation and into the larger circle of Unitarian Universalism. We welcome your story, your identity, and the gifts that you bring. May you find here a home for your soul. And new members. Glad to join with you
as members of this church. We will offer our gifts as we are able to the flourishing and well-being of this community and support the values of this congregation: hospitality, compassion, spiritual growth, and justice.
And all together, we covenant to travel together in this religious community. Here may we be affirmed for who we are and challenged to be our best selves. Here may we grow our souls, care for each other and the earth, nurture spiritual growth, practice justice, and together lead lives of meaning, service, and love. As the congregation sings a blessing to you, I invite you to sign in our membership book, being mindful that this holds over nearly 160 years of names of those who have come before you, and also to be mindful of the blank lines still open after yours, so that you may welcome new souls among us yet. We sing hymn number 1 in the gray hymnal as they sign. Verse 3 has alternate lyrics in your order of service. You can remain seated as we sing.
If the children would like to come up and join me, I have something I'd like to share with you today. Good morning, everybody. So last week, you know that I introduced our 30 Days of Loving Kindness that goes from MLK Day to Valentine's Day. But today I wanted to talk a little bit more about it because in times that things feel like they're very like tense and uncertain, sometimes it feels weird to be doing something that's fun. Does that seem like a fair statement? I think so. So what I want to remind you of is that this is something that covers all parts of your well-being. Because really the first thing you need to do is take care of yourself. Because if you are not taking care of yourself, it's really hard to take care of anybody else or help anybody else. So if you've ever been on an airplane, they're like, please put on your oxygen mask first before assisting others. That's kind of what we're doing. So there's some stuff on here that talks about that. So like take time to draw or color or create something. Does anybody see that like in front of them on a chair? Piece of paper. It's over there? Okay. Can somebody just pick it up and hold it up? There we go. Oh, there's another one in the back. Okay, so there's a couple of them. So there's other ones. Attend a protest, engage in conversations about inclusion. So hold them up nice and high. Because who had trouble just seeing the one that was over there? But now look at all of the ones that are around. When each of us take the time to hold up our signs and show that we are in this together. These are all things you can do that some of them may seem frivolous. It may seem weird to make somebody laugh. It may weird to take time to color or create something. But this is important work. This is all important stuff that we need to do. So adults and kids alike, pick up your bingo card. You may get a squishy heart. And turn them in 3 weeks. So this is what we're going to work on. Taking care of ourselves as individuals so we can take care of everybody as a community. You can just stick those back on the chairs. If not, I'll tape them up later. So we're going to go down and do some self-care with the kids and get ready to share some of our self-care with others. As Rose plays the children's benediction, you can find the lyrics on the back inside cover of your hymnals. And we'll head on down to the Commons today.
My father was Irish Catholic. That may elicit a shrug in 2026 Rochester, Minnesota, but it was more precarious in late 1930s New York. It caused difficulties in job searches and apartment hunting, especially when you were occasionally rooming with your cousin, whose last name is O'Brien. Eventually, my dad ended up in one of the Jewish sections of Brooklyn and worked for Kerfel and Esser in Manhattan. The Jewish people in New York City took care of my dad and accepted him into their neighborhood when others would not. He always held a great deal of gratitude for their kindness, and he held the Jewish people in high regard. When my dad died, my mom noted at the cemetery that he would have been happy to know that he was laid to rest just outside the Jewish section of the cemetery. That has stuck with me over these last 50-plus years. I was raised in Carlsbad, California, which had been incorporated only 1 year before I was born, and I'm not that old. Like the rest of this country, the land was originally settled by Native Americans who were pretty much subjugated by Spain and then Mexico, before California became part of the United States. In the 1840s, the Mexican government awarded a huge land grant to Juan Morón, whose descendants later sold acreage to the settlers who founded Carlsbad in the early 1900s. I tell you this because I grew up with descendants of the Moróns and other Mexican families who had lived there for generations. But their Carlsbad wasn't necessarily my Carlsbad. Unless they had married white people and had white surnames, they lived in the barrio, Barrio Carlos, which is still there and thriving. Carlsbad is bisected by Interstate 5, with the barrio to the west and the newer part to the east. I found out only a couple of years ago that my friend, our student body president, who is Latino and whose family had lived in Carlsbad way longer than mine, got stopped by the police whenever he drove across the I-5 divide outside of school hours, just to hassle him. I was horrified until I thought about it, but I'm sure the covenants on the house my parents bought in 1954 are problematic. But here's the thing. He lived in the barrio and may not have been welcome east of the freeway, but he lived in a tight-knit community, and I did not. Barrio Carlos has hung together and fought for and received historic classification and protection. The families are still there. Some of the same businesses still flourish, and they continue to be there for each other. My neighborhood, on the other hand, well, we knew each other, sort of, but none of us were related to anyone else there. There were no grandmas watching us or hovering with cookies and tamales. There was no shared history, no neighborhood celebrations, no running next door to play with our cousins, no multi-generational Christmas dinners. It was mostly transient military families. One of my white friends was a newcomer to Carlsbad. He grew up in the barrio, and he still raves about the experience 50 years later. They welcomed his family in and treated them as their own. The barrio is what I see happening in Minneapolis and St. Paul. Neighbors helping neighbors, really watching out and coming to each other's aid, even though they are from different cultures and backgrounds. It's a mindset and cohesiveness that I think perhaps has been underestimated by the people who thought they could come into Minnesota and divide and conquer the people. May we forever have each other's backs.
In gratitude, we'll receive the offering. invite you to take a deep breath. Breathe deep the breath of life. Feel below you the earth in its ancient turning. Above you the sky, and beyond that the stars shining with their ancient light, holding you in this moment, this breath, you yourself made of earth and stars. Invite you into this time of meditation, this time of prayer, first by sharing silence together. Spirit of life and love, God and Gaia of 1,000 names and beyond all naming. Perhaps the heartbreaking thing is how unsurprising it all is, how seemingly inevitable, how devastatingly preventable. The generations of state violence in our country and beyond. A system built from slave patrols, where our shared humanity, our collective well-being is degraded and disgraced. Help us continue to notice, within our anger, our grief, our resistance, to still and yet marvel at the strength and resilience of mutual aid, of collective care that binds together communities in solidarity, in song, in shared meals and songs, even in the midst of harrowing days. Hold in our hearts this day all those who suffer in mind, body, or spirit. We hold Jordan Zabel, whose mother died earlier this month. And we hold in gratitude the life of Bernice Donovan, whose memorial was held yesterday, graced today with these flowers. We hold the life, death, and beloveds of Alex Preddy in Minneapolis, and all those in fear and under threat. And we are grateful for all those finding ways to bring nourishment and healing and care to each other. I invite you to bring the names of the people and places you're holding in your own heart this day in joy or sorrow. And silently or aloud now, I invite you to speak their names in this time, including names that will be shared of those in our own Rochester immigrant community who've been deported or detained.
Carlos Aquino, David Vasquez Miranda, Carolina Casero Joe.
Jose Alberto Overo Filomeno, Juan Carlos Reyes Michuca, Juan Carlos Unido. Ramiro Salcido Dalilos, Saul Anita Alberto, Cornelio Reyes Rolando, Abigail Campos Francesca, Carlos Torres Garcia, Efren Kyle Ma,
Wilbert Armando Jonathan Giovanni Murillo Lopez, Loriano Martinez Caño.
Mayor Ariel Cancino, Darian Valeria Apolinar Monte, Alfredo Lazaro Corrales,
Andres Sanchez Cruz, Eduardo Rodriguez, Carolino Castaneda, Arevalo.
Allison Velasco Castaneda.
In the names of people and places you are holding this day, I invite you to speak their names. the names spoken and the many unspoken. May we be held in a fabric of love, of grace, of healing, of justice. These words of meditation come from Ursula Wolf-Rocca, reminding us of the importance of all the small, seemingly insignificant things we do for the fabric of justice and love. She writes, "It can be overwhelming to witness, experience, take in all the injustices of the moment." She says, "The good news is that they are all connected. So if your little corner of work involves pulling even at one small thread, you are helping to unravel the whole damn cloth." May that be so. Amen. A song shared from Minneapolis this week is what I'd like to share with you instead of what's in your order of service today. I gathered with nearly or just over 700 clergy from across the country in Minneapolis. There were Unitarian Universalists, Methodists, Lutherans, Jewish rabbis, Congregationalists, Episcopalians from New York, Georgia, California, and more, learning and witnessing and acting against the brutality of our government. At one point, the second day, we moved into different. We are here with our neighbors, Our love for each other will carry us through. That's it. So I'll sing a part, you repeat. The words will change each time, and our love for each other will carry us through repeats the same every time. All right? We are here with our neighbors. Our love for each other will carry us through. We are here with our family. Our love for each other will carry us through. We are here for our children. Our love for each other will carry us through. I am strong. We are stronger. Our love for each other will carry us through. We are here. We're still singing. Our love for each other will carry us through. Add some harmonies if you can. We are here. We are strong. Our love for each other will carry us through. We are here for our neighbors. Our love for each other will carry us through. We are here for our freedom. Our love for each other will carry us through. We are here. We are here. Our love for each other will carry us through. Keep repeating that. Our love for each other will carry us through. Our love for each other will carry us through. Amen.
The reading is an excerpt from Could We Please Give the Police Departments to Our Grandmothers by Janauda Petrus. Give them the salaries and the pensions and the city vehicles, but make them a fleet of vintage Corvettes, Jaguars, and Cadillacs with white leather interior, diamond in the back, sunroof top. Let the cars be badass. You would hear the old school jams like Patti LaBelle, Anita Baker, and Al Green. You would hear Sweet Honey in the Rock, harmonizing on who we believe in freedom will not rest, bumping out the speakers. If you up to mischief, they will pick you up swiftly in their sweet ride and look at you until you catch shame and look down at your lap. She asks you if you are hungry, and you say yes, and of course you are. She got a crown of dreadlocks, and on the dashboard you see brown faces like yours, shea buttered and loved up. And there are no precincts, just love temples that got spaces to meditate and eat delicious food. Mangoes, blueberries, nectarines, cornbread, peas and rice, fried plantain, fufu, yams, greens, okra, pecan pie, salad, and lemonade. Things that make your mouth water and soul arrive. All the hungry bellies know warmth. All the children expect love. The grandmothers help you with homework, practice yoga with you, and teach you how to make jambalaya and coconut cake from scratch. When you are wiling out because your heart is broke or you don't have what you need, the grandmas take your hand and lead you to their gardens. You can lay down amongst the flowers, her grasses, roses, dahlias, irises, lilies, collards, kale, eggplant, blackberries. She wants you to know that you are safe and protected, universal, limitless, sacred, sensual, divine, and free. So give the police departments to the grandmas. They are fearless, classy, and actualized, blossomed from love. They wear what they want and say what they please. Believe that. There wouldn't be noise citations when the grandmas ride through our streets, blasting Stevie Wonder, Nina Simone, Marvin Gaye, Alice Coltrane, Jimi Hendrix, KRS-One, all that good music. The kid's gonna hula hoop to it and sell her lemonade made from heirloom pink lemons and maple syrup. The car is solar powered and urban footprintless. They designed the technology themselves. At night, they park the cars in a circle so all can sit in them with the sunroofs down and look at the stars, talk about astrological signs, what to plant tomorrow based on the moon's mood, and help you memorize Audre Lorde and James Baldwin quotes. She always looks you in the eye and acknowledges the light in you with no hesitation or fear. Grandma loves you fiercely forever. She sees the pain in your bravado, the confusion in our anger, the depth behind our coldness. Grandma knows what oppression has done to our souls and is going to change it, one love temple at a time. And she has no fear.
It was night in a quiet neighborhood. Federal officers arrived at a home on a quiet street. Tensions grew quickly and disturbed the peace, to be sure. The one being detained resisted as he was able, kicking against the doors of the federal transport. His sister came out to agitate and confuse those ready to whisk him away. And then the resistance grew. A middle-aged neighbor, quote unquote, came out with her cane swatting at agents, and another ran several blocks to fill the streets with a warning signal so that others would come to the aid of that neighbor. The year was 1860. The town was Concord, Massachusetts. The detainee was Franklin Sanborn, local teacher and abolitionist. His sister Sarah was agitating the federal officers, not their transporters, but the federal horses that were leading the carriage. And the middle-aged neighbor was Annie Whiting, who climbed into the marshal's carriage and whacked them with her cane. The alarm that sounded was not a whistle, as is common right now in Minneapolis and other places and other communities where federal agents are crashing in, but it was someone ran across town and found someone to sound the tower bell at First Parish, the Unitarian Church in the center of town, to alert the community that a neighbor was in danger. The story says that 100 townspeople gathered and overwhelmed the federal marshals and pushed them out of town. Louisa May Alcott wrote, "Sanborn was nearly kidnapped. Great ferment in town. Annie Whiting immortalized herself by getting into the kidnapper's carriage so that they could not put the long-legged martyr in." Alcott continued, "One of the rascals," which I love her writing about them in that way, said, "Get out," and she said, "I won't. I'll whip up the horses and make them if you don't get out," said the marshal, and she replied, "Let them run to the devil, but I shan't stir." And about her own anger and commitment to the work, Alcott said, "I am so full of wrath, I don't dare unbottle myself for fear of the explosive consequences." She says, "I was not on the spot and could not free myself to join the fray then, but I am to be now on the vigilante committee, so I shall share in future gatherings." Here's an image of the attempted arrest in Concord. And you see the sister rallying up the horses, Annie Whiting about to come with her cane. The judge in Concord, who we love in particular for another story in his role in Louisa May being among the first women in Concord to vote, while still disallowing the men to vote in that particular vote, he drew up a writ of habeas corpus and accused the agents of wielding false documents for the arrest. Some things never change, like corrupt agents, like communal care. Sanborn was wanted because he was part of the Secret Six, a group of abolitionists, including Unitarian clergy, one in particular, Theodore Parker, who is said to have kept a revolver in his pastor's desk while writing sermons because of threats on his life for his views of abolition. This group believed that slavery may not go without a fight and supported John Brown's raid on Harper's Ferry. And so the federal agents were gathering them. Here at First Parish in Concord, you can see in this next image, we visit this with adults and youth on pilgrimage each year in what's known as the Sanborn Couch, with this inscription: "Here sat abolitionists Emerson, Thoreau, and John Brown, hearing plans for a slave uprising." So federal officers arrived, an alarm rang out, and neighbors gathered. It was then, and it is now. In Minneapolis, neighbors have been patrolling for their own safety. Many of you know this, blowing whistles, sending encrypted messages, being cogs in the system of empire to slow it down, to make it difficult to rip apart families and communities. Sometimes they have what some call a justice parade, following suspicious or intimidating vehicles in the neighborhood around the block, literally round and round. And sometimes they know they're being intentionally led away from planned actions by federal agents. And to be clear, the work of justice here is not saying that laws aren't important. Many are. Some, however, are quite unjust, and many of those in power don't seem to care about laws at all. especially when an immigration system, even when not enforced in cruel ways, takes an extensive amount of time, resources, often a waiting line longer than many can in any decent way survive. This has been true for a long, long time. People don't risk entire lives to cross borders unless it is to survive. And if we're talking about laws, clearly, there is regular breaking of them by those who are supposedly trying to enforce them. And as many have pointed out recently, entering the U.S. without inspection is usually a misdemeanor, not a felony. And other misdemeanors might include speeding, jaywalking, running a red light, rolling through a stop sign, many of which I probably did yesterday, failure to pay a parking ticket, and more. Like, what is so out of whack here? Many of our national elected leaders have much more than misdemeanors. This is no surprise to any of you. We know these things, that the laws of the state often lack respect for humanity, and the enforcement of them have consistently followed patterns of oppression. The heartbreaking thing is none of this is new, from Jim Crow to poll taxes and more. And we also know from our history, from Concord to Minneapolis, is that our ancestors were a mixed bag too, and not perfect, and neither are we. That they worked hard, sometimes with so much internal wrath, said Louisa May. Maybe that's what you're feeling today too. That it's hard to figure out where to push that energy, what to do about it, how and when to help your neighbors. And so here we are. Some of our people in the work of abolition and suffrage did great work. Some did not. Our history and our present keep intertwining in our own tradition, in our own country. And one thing is also clear. It is we, the people, who pledge our care to each other that keep each other safe, in the deepest sense. Safer than a state rooted in histories of oppression has ever kept us safe, and those on the margins safe. We keep each other safe when we feed each other, advocate for each other, by piling up donations of food on the table that is making this time a little more tolerable to survive right now, by calling our politicians, even with their callous responses, and being an embodied presence and reminder to each other that we are not alone in this work. It can feel sometimes like we're just going in circles, generations back or around the block again and again. But in the process of trying to track down how we can help in 1,000 different ways, maybe around each corner we learn something more. Maybe we hear a bell that wakes us up a little bit to something maybe that we're able to do or that lives inside us, some strength or capacity or anger that we didn't know we even had, some heartbreak that breaks us open to some possibility, our need for each other, a reminder of connection. And maybe around each corner is also another story or another person doing something we can join in with or be encouraged by. Maybe just around the corner is the next bell will ring and keep ringing to draw our community closer. When we were being on a hold in that small church in South Minneapolis, the rabbi, who then taught us that song, said, "And in a tradition not of my own, it seems we have a miracle of loaves and fishes here, because the kitchen crew in the church whipped up pots and pots of soup just to feed everyone who was in the building." It's been a week. It's been a little much. And I wonder about how do we wake our senses? Not just our own, but each other's and our communities. I don't usually do this in the pulpit, but here we are. Because the bells toll, and it's so uncertain. And I see so much grace and kindness and resilience from places you don't expect it. So I want to teach you one more song. This is what also, I'm going to say one thing. I wasn't sure I was going to say this, but I'm going to say one last thing before I teach you this short song. The rabbi gathered with 800 clergy at Westminster Presbyterian, and she got up there and she said, "I know we come from different traditions, She said, but there is only one word to speak about what is happening in our communities. One religious word, fuckery. So thank you to that rabbi who gave us the right religious language. And so then she taught us this song. So it's a little call and response. So it goes first like this. Who keeps us safe? Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. We keep us safe. The love of our people will keep us safe. The love of our people will keep us safe. All right, so I'll sing a bit, you sing it with me. Who keeps us safe? Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. We keep us safe. The love of our people will keep us safe. The love of our people will keep us safe. Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. The love of our people will keep us safe. Way to rise in body or spirit. Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. The love of our people will keep us safe. Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. The love of our people will keep us safe. Amen. The hymn is Wake Now, My Senses. I invite you to stay risen in body or spirit as we sing. Verse 3. Wake now, compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Take as your neighbor, both stranger and friend. And striving their hardship to end. Wake now, my conscience, with justice thy guide. Join with all people whose rights are denied. Take as your granted a privileged place. God's love embraces the whole human race. invite you, as you're comfortable, place a hand on your heart or toward the sky or earth in gratitude. And from the Talmud, that reminds us, do not be overwhelmed by the enormity of the world's grief. Do justly now. Love kindness now. Go humbly now. You are not required to finish the work, but neither are you free to abandon it. May that be so. Amen.